For decades, Harbor Freight was the safest store in America for your wallet. $20 felt like a golden ticket. Coupons could fill a toolbox, and, in small towns, the store felt less like a corporation and more like a neighbor, the place where you could afford to be a builder, a fixer, a creator. But walk into a Harbor Freight today and the shift hits instantly. Prices sit higher than memory expects. The coupons that once defined the brand are gone. The aisles feel familiar, yet something underneath has changed. Tools that were automatic buys now make shoppers hesitate. The confidence that guided every purchase has thinned. Millions of loyal customers feel this change. Few can explain it. Because Harbor Freight isn't collapsing, it's transforming. Fast. Stores multiplying across the country. Product lines rewritten. Global pressures squeezing every aisle. A brand once defined by simplicity now pulled into complexity it never prepared customers for. If you felt this change in your own store, drop a comment, because the story behind this shift is far bigger than a missing coupon or a higher price tag. And once you see what caused it, you'll understand why Harbor Freight doesn't feel like Harbor Freight anymore. Harbor Freight didn't grow, it surged. New stores opening in a rhythm so fast it barely looked real sometimes every few days. To small towns, this felt like salvation. Finally, a tool store within reach. Finally, options. Finally, affordability. But rapid expansion creates cracks long before anyone sees them. A new store might open strong, stocked, staffed, smooth. 3 months later, the pressure shows. Inventory delays begin. Training gaps widen. Turnover leaves aisles unmanned. Customers walk into one store and love it, walk into another and wonder what happened. This isn't inconsistency. It's the cost of speed. Home Depot and Lowe's expand carefully because their infrastructures must keep pace. Harbor Freight expanded faster than its systems could evolve, and the foundation that once made the brand reliable started to wobble under the weight. Harbor Freight didn't lose its identity on purpose. It outran it. When Harbor Freight prices began creeping upward, many assumed the company was chasing profit. But the real story isn't greed, it's pressure. Relentless, global, unavoidable pressure that hit the company harder than most shoppers ever realized. For decades, Harbor Freight's entire pricing model depended on one thing: stability. Stable shipping costs. Stable labor in overseas factories. Stable material prices. Stable economic conditions. As long as the world stayed predictable, Harbor Freight could stay cheap. The world didn't stay predictable. Shipping costs exploded almost overnight. The same container that once cost a modest fee suddenly cost more than the tools inside it. Tariffs slammed metal tools, plastics, generators, compressors, the backbone of Harbor Freight's catalog. Then, raw material prices rose. Steel, aluminum, copper, plastics. Everything got more expensive before it even became a tool. And while overseas costs were rising, domestic costs surged too. Higher wages across retail, higher transportation costs, higher insurance, higher shrinkage from nationwide theft waves. Every tool, from a $5 screwdriver to a $300 generator, arrived at the shelf with more weight on its price tag than ever before. Inside corporate meetings, Harbor Freight had to make a choice. Raise prices slowly and protect product quality. Or slash build standards and hope customers didn't notice. They protected the tools. So the prices moved. Customers don't see the freight invoices or tariff sheets. They see the new tags and feel something familiar slipping away. That automatic confidence, the feeling that Harbor Freight must always be the cheapest, weakens the moment a competing brand lands close in price. This is the emotional break customers never talk about. Harbor Freight didn't stop being affordable. It stopped being predictably affordable. And that shift sets the stage for the next collision, the collapse of the coupon economy, the loyalty ritual that once defined the entire Harbor Freight experience. Behind every price increase, every stock delay, every quiet shift in Harbor Freight's catalog lies one uncomfortable truth. The company relies overwhelmingly on Chinese manufacturing. For decades, this was Harbor Freight's advantage. Stable factories, consistent production costs, efficient logistics, predictable pricing. But the global economy changed. Tariff waves disrupted the cost structure. Shipping uncertainty created delays. Chinese labor became more expensive. Geopolitical tension added volatility to every container crossing the Pacific. When a retailer sources most of its product lines from one region, even a small disruption triggers a ripple across the entire chain, and Harbor Freight felt that ripple harder than most. The company is now testing suppliers in Vietnam, Mexico, Taiwan, and elsewhere. But shifting a supply chain that took decades to build is slow, costly, and risky. In the meantime, customers feel the consequences instantly in price tags, in availability, in quality variance. This is the silent pressure squeezing Harbor Freight from behind the scenes, the shift that explains almost everything else. For years, Harbor Freight's charm came from unpredictability. Oddball deals, liquidation fines, and tools you bought simply because the price was too tempting to ignore. But today's Harbor Freight is methodical, engineered, and deliberate. The brand rebuilt its entire lineup around a tiered strategy. Bauer for budget-conscious buyers. Hercules as the mid-tier line that feels close to true job site performance. Icon aimed directly at professional mechanics. Daytona for high-trust lifting equipment. Predator for power reliability and generator dominance. This shift is not just branding, it is psychology. Bauer pulls in the casual shopper. Hercules sits close enough to DeWalt or Milwaukee pricing that buyers start comparing performance instead of thinking about the brand's reputation. Icon leans on the look and feel of premium mechanic tools to make professionals question long-standing loyalty. A perfect example is the Icon ratchet. It costs far less than a snap-on ratchet, yet it is packaged and machined well enough to make customers wonder why the price gap is so large. That is not luck. It is strategic anchoring. Harbor Freight wants the customer to think upward, not downward. But higher tiers bring higher expectations. The moment a Hercules drill lands just below a major brand in price, people no longer judge it like a Harbor Freight tool. They judge it like a professional-grade tool. And that is where tension begins. The brand that once promised tools that were cheap and good enough is now promising tools that are professional and competitive. Some customers see this shift as exciting. Others see it as intrusive. Product strategy is no longer about filling shelves. It is about shaping how customers think, how they compare, and how they spend. Harbor Freight is not just selling tools anymore. It is selling a new identity. If there was one ritual that defined Harbor Freight, it wasn't the tools. It was the coupons. 20% off anything. Free flashlights. Discounted tarps. Deals that felt like they belonged in a different era of retail. Coupons weren't marketing, they were identity. They created a feeling of partnership between the store and the shopper. You walked in expecting to win. Then one day, the winning stopped. Deep discounts disappeared. Freebies dried up. Deals were moved behind inside Track Club paywalls or store credit cards. This shift didn't just upset customers. It rewrote the emotional contract. People didn't miss the savings as much as they missed the feeling, the sense that Harbor Freight wanted them to walk out with something extra. When that vanished, loyalty cracked. Comment if you remember the golden coupon days. For many shoppers, that was the moment Harbor Freight stopped feeling like Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight's quality story is a tale of two realities. Some tools improved dramatically, others stayed unpredictable. And customers live in the space between those extremes. Consider this. A woodworker in Ohio bought a Daytona jack 3 years ago. He expected it to last a season. It's still flawless, no leaks, no creep, no drama. For him, Harbor Freight became a quiet hero. Proof that the company could deliver durability at a price most families can handle. But then you hear the other side. A contractor in Florida picked up a mid-tier cordless drill for a roofing project. It ran strong at first, then overheated repeatedly until it locked up entirely. The job stalled. The crew waited. A tool failure that once felt acceptable became a costly setback. The price jump changed his expectations, and the disappointment hit harder than before. This inconsistency isn't random. It comes from Harbor Freight's reliance on a wide network of OEM factories. One factory nails the tolerances. Another misses the mark. The badge on the tool is the same, but the internal story is not. And here is the tension most customers feel but never say out loud. Harbor Freight isn't judged by its worst tools anymore. It's judged by its best ones. When Icon, Predator, and Daytona raise the bar, customers expect that same standard everywhere. A cheap wrench breaking is an annoyance. A higher-priced drill failing is a breach of trust. That gap between improvement and inconsistency is the emotional charge customers bring into the store today. Harbor Freight built its kingdom on DIY shoppers, homeowners patching fences, beginners learning their craft, small-town mechanics working with tight budgets. But when the company introduced Icon, Hercules, and premium-level marketing, it sent a signal to a very different group: professionals. Pros evaluate tools differently. They think in months, not years. In uptime, not savings. In reliability, not novelty. One mechanic in Tennessee tried swapping his snap-on ratchet set for Icon. He loved the feel until one seize during a busy day, costing him 2 hours of billable time. That experience turned him away instantly. The price savings didn't matter, time did. On the other side, a hobbyist in Arizona walked into the store to replace his old $60 drill and froze. The good options now sat closer to $100. To him, Harbor Freight was drifting into a price tier he never expected to navigate. Both reactions are real. Both reflect a brand caught between two identities. A store trying to evolve without losing the crowd that built its foundation. Harbor Freight's physical expansion exploded. Its digital evolution did not. In an era where nearly every retailer offers real-time inventory, seamless apps, custom recommendations, fast shipping, and instant product comparisons, Harbor Freight feels a step behind. The website works, but slowly. The app exists, but lags behind competitors. Information updates late. Coupons feel scattered. Inventory varies without warning. This digital gap amplifies every frustration customers already feel in-store. When a price rises, shoppers immediately check alternatives online. Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards all deliver polished digital ecosystems that Harbor Freight doesn't match. When a product disappears or changes brands, Harbor Freight doesn't communicate it clearly. The result is confusion that morphs into disappointment. And when a company is trying to rebuild its identity, the last thing it can afford is friction. The irony is sharp. Harbor Freight expanded faster than almost any major retailer in America, yet its digital experience stayed stuck a few eras behind. The brand moved into the future physically, but left its online presence in the past. And customers feel the mismatch every time they try to check a price, confirm availability, or understand a warranty. Despite the changes, Harbor Freight remains one of the best value tool stores in the country if you know what you're doing. The deals are still there. They're just not everywhere anymore. Hand tools are still a win. Wrenches, sockets, pry bars, pliers, screwdrivers, they're simple to manufacture, consistent across batches, and deliver long-term value far beyond their price. Consumables are another easy yes. Gloves, tarps, zip ties, tapes, sanding discs, anything you expect to wear out quickly is safer to buy cheap, and Harbor Freight nails the cost per use advantage. Then there are the standouts. Daytona jacks that keep earning respect. Icon tools that rival premium brands at half the price. Predator generators with reliability that surprises even skeptics. But here's the rule. The more complex the tool, the more caution you need. High-precision tools drift. Cordless power tools vary widely by model. Battery ecosystems lack long-term stability. Anything safety-related demands scrutiny. Harbor Freight is no longer the store where everything is a deal. It's the store where smart shoppers still win, but careless ones lose quickly. Comment with a tool that shocked you, good or bad. Your experiences help map the real front line of Harbor Freight's evolution. On the surface, Harbor Freight's transformation seems simple. Prices changed, product lines expanded, coupons disappeared. But beneath these visible shifts lies a deeper cost structure that reshapes how customers experience the brand. Start with brand clarity. Harbor Freight used to be simple. Budget meant budget. Premium brands were outside the building. No decision required thinking. Today, the aisles tell a different story. Icon sits beside Bauer. Hercules sits near big brand price ranges. Customers walk in expecting bargains but find 3 different versions of the same tool, each with its own pitch, price, and promise. For some, that's choice. For others, it's confusion. A shopper in Kentucky walked in to replace a $30 grinder he bought years ago. He expected the same deal. Instead, he found a mid-tier model priced near $70. Not outrageous, but enough to disrupt the mental script he always associated with Harbor Freight. He left without buying anything, not because $70 was too much, but because it wasn't expected. That feeling spreads quickly. When a brand shifts its identity faster than it communicates, customers fill in the gaps with suspicion. They assume the store changed its values, not its strategy. They interpret evolution as betrayal. And inside those assumptions lies the most dangerous cost of all. Not financial, emotional. Harbor Freight risks losing the trust that made it powerful. And without trust, even a better product at a fair price can feel like a step backward. This is where the story flips. Because Harbor Freight isn't failing. It's changing. The brand is bigger, richer, and more ambitious than ever. It created product lines that compete with giants, expanded into regions other retailers abandoned, and modernized parts of its business that once felt decades behind. But growth has a price, and that price is identity. Harbor Freight used to be defined by simplicity, cheap, useful, reliable enough tools anyone could afford. Now it's defined by contradictions, premium and budget, pro and DIY, bargain and brand builder. Customers can feel that contradiction the moment they walk through the door. Some see improvement. Some see betrayal. Both are responding to the same transformation, just from different angles. The truth is that Harbor Freight today is caught between 2 versions of itself, the one that built its empire and the one it believes it must become. Which direction wins will determine the future of every aisle, every price, every product, and every customer relationship the company has left. This is the crossroads. If you want to see Harbor Freight's future, watch the pressure points shaping it. The supply chain diversification isn't optional, it's inevitable. China's increasing production costs and global instability mean Harbor Freight cannot afford to rely on a single manufacturing hub. But diversification brings growing pains. Tool prices may rise before stabilizing as new suppliers in Vietnam, Mexico, India, and Taiwan refine their processes. Then comes digital evolution. Harbor Freight's next big leap won't be physical. It'll be the moment the company finally modernizes its digital backbone. Imagine real-time inventory, smoother mobile checkout, personalized deals, and clearer product comparisons. These upgrades could solve many frustrations plaguing customers today. But the most dramatic future lies in its identity fork. One path leads deeper into professional markets, stronger warranties, advanced engineering, tool ecosystems meant to rival Milwaukee or Makita. The other path retraces the store's roots, leaning into affordability, unpredictability, and small-town loyalty. The most likely scenario? Harbor Freight becomes a hybrid premium where it's profitable, bargain-friendly where it's strategic, and data-driven across all categories. The worst case? It drifts too far upward and loses the trust that built it. The best case? It becomes the Aldi of tools, lean, efficient, and impossible to beat on value. What Harbor Freight chooses next won't just change the store. It will change the entire tool market in America. Harbor Freight isn't disappearing. It's transforming. And like every transformation, it leaves some customers excited and others feeling left behind. But the clues were always there: rising costs, new product tiers, fading coupons, global pressure, shifting identity. And now that the pieces are on the table, the story finally makes sense. If breakdowns like this help you understand how companies evolve and how those changes affect your wallet, subscribe to GeoLogic. And drop a comment with your Harbor Freight experience, good or bad. Your stories reveal what the numbers alone can't. Because Harbor Freight's future won't be decided in a boardroom. It will be decided in the aisles by shoppers just like you.